Welcome back to Vegas Live with Ninon. I'm Ninon, your host, and I have Pierrette with me. She's actually from French parents, I believe.
Yeah, my mother was
Your mother was
French-Canadian, yes.
French-Canadian, so that's pretty cool. It's part of England, you know.
Yeah.
We always seem to talk about England, and then we talk about Canada, and then we talk about Australia. But England came first.
Like the chicken or the egg, right?
Yeah, which is the chicken or the egg came first. Pierrette, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you for
Now,
asking.
I asked, I don't pre-interview my guests, as we all know, and I'm quite sure you know now. But I do ask just before I'm about to go on set, what do you exactly do? So she does interior designing. And then all of a sudden she throws in, well, I was a fire eater, I was a belly dancer. I'm like, okay, so all this kind of, you do the belly dancer, when you're doing the interior decorating. What do we do here? What do we do there?
No.
Fascinating.
I still belly dance occasionally for parties these days. But
oh, you do?
Yeah. It's funny because when I graduated high school, one of my friends said to me, well, you're going to go to college, right? You can't belly dance. Like, that's not a job. You can't make a living at that. And I was like, well, I've been belly dancing since I was 10. At this point, 7 years. I've made a living at it so far. Well, just stick with it and see how it works out.
See what happens. Then I don't have to go to college.
And then at my 10-year reunion, I was belly dancing full-time at Caesars in what was then the Bacchanal restaurant.
Oh, I know the Bacchanal restaurant.
Yeah, it was amazing.
What year were you belly dancing there?
Through the 90s and then up to 2000 when they closed.
Yeah.
And then after that, what would have been my 20-year reunion, I had just gotten my architecture degree and I was belly dancing at the MGM. And then what would have been my 30-year, I was working in architecture and still belly dancing. So for something that was never supposed to have been a career, it turned out okay.
It turned out great. And you have, the name of your company is La Belle Maison.
Right, which means the beautiful home.
The beautiful home. Oh, by the way, this thing that keeps sliding down, I've got it this here, but excuse us 1 minute.
Oh, yes,
but
please.
This is from Quirky Minds Media, and this is the Composers Showcase, which is going to be on May the 5th from 5 o'clock to 10 p.m., and it's a Stoners Rocking Country, and that's in Town Square. And these are all the performers. There's myself right there. I'm going to be doing the red carpet. He's going to be doing, there's all these different names going to be there. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 performers are going to be there, and of course the Carpenters tribute concert, that's what it's called, and it's absolutely amazing. So don't forget to make sure that stays there.
We will do our best.
Let's not breathe, because it seems if we breathe it collapses. So I love your bracelet, by the way.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Very subtle.
So,
I'm all about subtle.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Yeah, I can see that. But so you still belly dance?
Occasionally, yeah, for parties.
Can you sort of be a belly dancer as of any age, or is there a time?
I think Las Vegas, it's a little bit harder because we're more restrictive about, and it's getting better for sure. But I mean, when I was working full time and making a living at it, it was very difficult. They were very restrictive about weight, and so of course if you're not thin enough, they'll just take a showgirl and put her in the costume. They don't care if she can dance, they just want that look.
They want I know that.
Right.
Well, that's the thing about dating here and everything else here. I mean, I'm absolutely hopeless. Nobody wants me.
I find that hard to believe.
Well, no, I'm too old. Anything above 50, you've had it. I mean, it's like,
it's a very youth-oriented
the younger generation are definitely overpowered, especially in the women's department.
Yes.
But as it so happens, I was married for 29 years. My husband passed away in 2004, and I'm not really looking for a husband. I'm
Which
very
is fortuitous.
I'm very content how I am. I love what I do, and if someone comes along, great. And if they don't, then it wasn't meant to be. But I did have 29 years of a very, very beautiful marriage.
And
so
many people don't get
they
to
can't
say that.
Oh,
so very blessed.
I always say, if I die right now, I have had the most beautiful life any woman could have. I've done it from soup to nuts. I've done it,
and I feel the same way.
Do you feel the same way?
I do.
Well, you didn't go to college. You kept up your belly dance. Oh, you still went to college.
I did go to college. I got around the age of 30. I started college, so I started
later. Yes,
and I got my degree in architecture.
Yes.
So even though I was belly dancing on the nights and weekends, I was working full-time 40 hours in an architecture firm. And I was doing projects. If you're from Las Vegas, you might remember the Fresh and Easy supermarkets. So
Yes.
they were here. I did all of the ones that were zoned in Clark County here in Las Vegas.
And you did the architectural design. So do you do
Yeah.
shopping centers? Do you do houses? What do you do?
I have contributed to, site development and county planning and all of that on
really?
all types of projects, from site design to kind of soup to nuts, like you said.
Soup to nuts, yeah, you've gone
to
through all
choosing
of it.
colors. And I used to get so annoyed in architecture school because every professor was like, "You're in interiors, right?" And I would get so
No.
mad. No, why do you say that? Because my clothes match,
They like to
because I'm a
stamp
girl.
you. Yeah.
Well, I found out years later, one of my bosses said, well, the reason why they do that is you always start your projects from the inside out, and architects think from the outside in. And once I embraced that about myself, that as much as I love architecture, I love interiors more. For me, it's all about the interior spaces.
Yes.
And I love residential architecture in that regard, because if someone is kind enough to invite me into their home, and I get to help them make that home into the sanctuary that they don't even know they've envisioned.
Yes, they
Because
don't even know.
No, I mean, they think,
They
I
don't know
don't
this
know
is
what I
what would
want.
suit them, and this is what they like, and this is
Right.
what they'd be comfortable in living with.
Right.
This is a very interesting point, actually, because you don't, you think you go in there and you decorate it. But hang on a second. There's these two people living in there, normally two people.
Right.
And then now,
And it's their home.
It's their home, and they've
Yes.
got to come home to this every day or live in it every day.
Yes.
So you've got to find out what they want.
Yes.
You
there
love
are
my
so
home.
many-
It's full of antiques. It's
so
crazy.
important, first of all, to ask the questions about what the customer, what the client wants.
Wants.
But also, usually they're going to tell you, I don't know what I want. But everyone has an opinion, whether or not they realize. Everyone has
Because
preferences.
suddenly, if you mention something, they say, "Oh no, I don't like that." Or,
Well,
"Oh yes, I like that."
So usually what I do is I put together a presentation of ideas, and we sort through them,
Yeah.
and then we create a favorites folder out of those. And then from that favorites folder, whether there's a cohesive look to them or not,
Yeah.
there's usually a rhythm to what they've chosen.
You
Sometimes,
don't think interior decorating is a rhythm, do you? And it is.
so yeah, there is.
Same as anything.
Exactly. And so sometimes it's a little more obvious,
Yes.
everything is gray and white, or everything is wood or antiques. Sometimes it's a little more hidden,
Yes.
what they're looking for. But
They always have it there.
Yeah, they do.
Maybe they're afraid to bring it out, or nobody will like it, and nobody will think I'm
But
silly
it's so
to like
important
this.
because
Well,
it's
they're gonna
their
live.
home, and they come
Yes.
home to that every day. So my job is not to tell them what they need. My job is to find the pieces that they love,
To help them
and help
find
them put it
what
all
they
together.
want.
Yes, and to give them things that are more unique than the big box stores offer.
Yes.
Everyone wants to go to the big box stores and go shopping. Don't do that.
Okay, don't do that.
Because there are so many options. I carry over 200
You've got to come to
furniture
La
lines.
Belle
La Belle
Maison.
Maison. I carry over 200 furniture lines. And so there are so many options above and beyond what you see
You must
in the stores.
Yeah, you must love what you do you?
I do. I love it so much. I'm so blessed that I've had two amazing careers doing things that I feel really passionate about. Not everyone gets that gift.
No.
And I've been lucky enough
And
to
you'll be
have
lucky
it
to
twice.
have that. How about
Yeah.
Christopher Guy?
I like him. He's very stylish.
Yeah, he passed
Yeah.
away, as you know.
I do.
Yeah,
It's
he was a very
unfortunate.
good friend of mine. I helped him open the store in Beverly Hills, and then he opened another store in Beverly Drive. But we were very close because obviously, and he actually lived 100 miles from where I was born when he was
Wow,
young. Yeah, he lived
wow.
in Bournemouth, and I lived in Torquay, so we were 100 miles apart, not knowing
Wow.
it, but we
Right.
were very, very close. But and his whole thing was the legs of a chair or a table, and they sort of curved this way, and they were very, very unusual, incredible talent, and visionary. His vision was amazing.
And I don't envy that job. I don't think I'd want to design the furniture. I mean, that's
He loved it.
and that's why he was good
That's
at
why
it.
he
I think.
did it,
I think
yes.
that's a little much. I don't want to have to worry about the manufacturing and all of that. But for myself, I feel pretty blessed to have a really great selection of vendors
Yes.
who make such a variety of styles.
They do.
That you can do anything
choose
from
anything,
contemporary
yes.
to rustic to contemporary rustic.
Absolutely. Now, something that bothers me with a lot of homes that I go into is people's bedrooms. They don't seem to matter too much about their bedrooms. Their bedrooms
should.
and
It's
their
your
bedrooms
sanctuary.
are sort of they're rather stark, or they're messed up, and I look at it and I think, this is a place where you actually come into to relax.
Yes.
And this is kind of your own place where nobody really goes into except
Right.
you, your husband, boyfriend, whatever the case may
Right.
be. And so this is like, this is like something very, very dear to you.
Yes.
And yet a majority of bedrooms, they're like, you think, how did they choose this?
Well, and many times it's because they just kind of have chosen functionality just to have a bed, but not to
yes.
have a headboard, not to have nightstands that match, not to have lamps that you can read by. I mean, those things are really important.
They are. I have two
because-
beautiful antique lamps. They're from France. They're gorgeous and they're gold and these great big.
Well, I'm
and to
not
me, that's-
surprised. You have a fantastic sense of style. So
Thank you. But I think your bedroom, in fact, I actually tell people when they want to sort of find out what's going on with themselves, go to your bedroom, close the door, just sit there. Don't think of anything or anybody. Just sit there.
which only works if you have a peaceful space, though.
But you've
If
got
your
to
space
have-
is chaotic, then you can't find peace. And that, I think, contributes to stress. I think it's really important to create a space in your home.
Where's
Well,
tranquil?
all of the spaces in your home should flow. They should have a comfortable feel. They should be places that you want to come home to.
Absolutely.
That relieve your stress from the end of the day, not
That's what they're
contribute
supposed
to
to do.
Yes.
So, and I think so. What you do, and you've got all these different plans, and everybody, as much as we might think people's homes are all the same, they're not. They're
No.
very individual.
No.
They're very. I remember we had a home in Bel Air in Los Angeles. And I put the sofa in a certain way. We had this great big lounge, and my husband said, "How did you know to put the sofa there?" And I said, "Well, I didn't. I just thought that's where it would be, that people can walk around it, and it's a little cozy because it was a big room."
Right.
But it kind of fitted. But when he said that, I suddenly thought, well, no, I didn't really, go into lengths of how it should look. But that's just what came.
And
But-
instinct is part of it. You have
Yes.
good instincts.
Yes.
Not every client does.
No.
Which, fortunately for me, gives me a job.
That gives you the.
But
Yeah, that's what she's
But
there for.
I mean, and I work with a wide range of clients. Some of them who have a very clear idea of what they want. They
Yes.
just need me to find the pieces.
Yes.
And some of them who have absolutely no idea what direction to go. And either client is fine.
Yes.
I'm happy to direct them, to help them to participate as
course.
much or as little as they,
They
want.
want, yes.
Because again, it's their home.
It's their home.
It should be their end result, their
A
vision
lot of
that
people
we're
put
bringing.
Asian stuff. I have Asian stuff in my home. I happen to love Asian stuff. I've got Asian and English, and then I've got this big glass top modern table with these two sort of marble stands, and then I've got the antique chairs around it. So it's kind of very different. But people go a lot into having Asian pieces in their house. And what's the reason for that? Is that sort of the feng shui thing?
I
or?
do think there is a mystique about some of those styles, and I do think that the feng shui plays a big part in that.
Yes.
And I've got clients who prefer Asian, contemporary, Southwestern,
Yes.
rustic, farmhouse, traditional, transitional. There are so many styles now, and what's really fun is we've broken all the rules. We've exploded.
that.
We've exploded the rule book,
Yeah.
and things that you would have never put together before can be blended. But as one of my architecture professors used to say, you have to know the rules before you can break them. So it's still important to find proportion and scale and
Of balance.
yes, to find balance, symmetry. Those concepts still need to apply.
Yes.
Even if you're mixing elements. And you can go too far. You can mix too many things. You still have to have continuity.
To kind of have a
Yes.
balance there. It's like I collect angels, and I've got in part of my house. My house is very open. It's small, but it's very open. And I've got this sort of stand where the television is here, and it's got this top that divides room to room. And I've got all these angels. I've got a big thing of a plant on it, but I've got all these angels.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah, and it is. But I think people can do that, and that's something of your own
Yes.
that you can start collecting or start
Yes.
doing that brings it part of you, of definitely part of you, of being part of the house.
And I've worked with clients who have collections of things, and I've worked with clients who want nothing on any tabletop anywhere in the
How
home.
boring
So
that could be.
there's
To each his own.
yeah, exactly.
To each his
exactly.
own, or they have one plant on it, which sometimes a lot of these things can look very elegant. Though.
Yes,
They're very
yes.
sort of simplicity. Sometimes my house is not simplicity at all. It's just
But it's-
antiques, but it's me. It's what I
It's
have.
the most fun working with so many different personalities, so many different
And
clients.
shopping centers, are they, you do those too?
I haven't done any of that since I left commercial architecture. So I've been focusing mainly on residential.
Well, that's what's going on in Vegas anyway.
And it's really what I love. I've learned about myself that's where my heart is. That's my passion.
What you like to do. Now let's get to the belly dancing. You swallow fire or something.
My father was a magician and my mother was his assistant. They met in a nightclub in Montreal. And my father went there because they paid him twice as much to work in Canada than the East Coast. And he didn't speak a word of French. And he saw my mother, who was a cigarette girl, going table to table, speaking French, then English, French, then English. And he was like, I need to meet her.
She speaks my language.
Yes, and she happened to be very talented. She was a great seamstress, and they ended up, and she was very beautiful. So they ended up pairing up, and she became his assistant, made all their costumes. They traveled together. And I was born very late. My mother had me at 44.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And my father was 39. So
that's like my mom. My mom was 5 years older than my father.
Yeah, it's just funny.
Yeah.
So
in those days, it's fine. It's not now.
It was a big deal then.
Yeah. It's like, whoa, what's she doing?
And so they ended up in Las Vegas for my mother's health. The dry climate suited her.
Yes.
So they ended up here, and I took her place when I was 4, and I worked with my dad. He'd put me in boxes and cremate me and levitate me and cut me in half, cut me in 6, and then taught
She's
me.
Still alive. She's still here.
Scars, but
still here.
And then my dad taught me to eat fire when I was 10. We were doing a party at the Sahara Hotel. And they used to have huge parties for the high rollers. And
not anymore.
No, not like they used to. And so they had this huge party. It was Middle Eastern themed. So they had belly dancers. So my dad and I were doing magic, and I saw these belly dancers, and one of them was 10, like me. And her body just moved like water, and I thought,
why can't mine do that?
Absolutely the coolest thing I've ever done, ever seen.
I love it.
That's what I want to be when I grow up. And my dad didn't go, you're out of your mind. He went, well, let's go meet him. So I started classes the next week, and he said, if you're going to be a belly dancer, you have to have a good gimmick. So he took me in the backyard, and where most kids are being told, don't play with matches, he had a torch, and he's like, okay, kid, open up. And he taught me how to eat fire.
Because I lived in Beirut for a couple of years, and a girl that was in the performance, which was called May We, at the Casino de Lebanon, and she ate fire, and she used to do this. I used to look at her and go, oh.
Well, you don't inhale. and make sure your hair's back. That's important too. So in all the years, my dad always taught me, it's still fire. Don't ever forget that it's fire. Don't lose respect for it. And I've been fortunate enough that I never burned myself.
Don't lose. Concentrate on what you are doing 100%.
Yeah. So,
are you still getting bookings for the fire dancing, belly dancing?
I really haven't promoted that anymore. I'm happy to let the younger generation take over.
Would you if you were approached, would you do that?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, what entertainer doesn't still want a chance to entertain?
Okay, so everything's coming back. Yeah. All this is, I think it's June 1st. They say that Vegas is going to be open up 100%.
Yeah.
Although this is going to be the Carpenters tribute concert, which is again at the Stony Rocking Country in the town square, Wednesday, May 5th. From 5 to 10, I'll be there interviewing everybody on the red carpet, and hope that I can give them time and learn a little bit about them. And hopefully you'll come along.
That might be fun.
It might be fun. Because it's not open. I mean, Vegas isn't open yet, so we've got a little bit of advantage for people to come to this. And it is a fundraiser. It's a fundraiser for all the musicians out there and all the singers and acts, and like yourself, anybody who is a little bit hard up for money. We're raising money for them to make sure we can give them something and help them a little bit.
Sense.
And that's what we're trying to do, so it's amazing. How can anybody reach you? I guess in La Belle Maison.
Right.
How can they reach you?
So I have a website. It's LBMLV, so La Belle Maison, LBMLV, like Las Vegas.com, or my number is 702-349-9009. Give me a call, shoot me a text, we'll set an appointment, and we'll make your house beautiful.
And I think she will. I mean, you know, I haven't seen any of her houses, but it sounds pretty cool to me. It sounds absolutely great. Understanding that when you're going to decorate your house, it is you. It is all about you.
It is.
And of what you want, as crazy as it may seem, who cares? It's your home. You can do what you want in it and how you want to do it.
Exactly.
And why not? Absolutely amazing guest. Don't forget to go to YouTube and subscribe. And thank you for all the support out there. And also thank you for whoever put that rumor out that apparently I was very, very sick and I had cancer and I was dying and all sorts of crazy things were going on. But hello.
But
I'm
the
still
good
here.
news is none of it's true.
None of it's true. I'm still here. I didn't have cancer and I wasn't ill and I haven't had a vaccine. I guess I should say yet. I don't know if I'm going to get a vaccine. I'm not sure. Have you had a vaccine yet?
I have not.
You have not?
I have not. We're talking about it. We're debating.
Yes, I'm debating too.
I know. Everyone says they've done their research, but I'm not convinced that they're not the research. So
I think I think they're kind of. I know that my producer just had. I don't know if it's his first shot today or his second shot today, but he says, you know, I don't feel quite the same as I usually feel.
It's a little wonky. Yeah,
he says he doesn't feel. You know, so there is a reaction to this, but you mustn't forget that when you are given, if I'm correct, I could be wrong, I was wrong once before, but if I understand, you're actually, when you take a vaccine, you're actually given it. That's the idea, to get your immune system, you know, to fight against it. So I don't know how strong that is. A lot of people have told me that this deteriorates the immune system. I don't know how true any of this stuff is out there.
I'm not sure either.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of...
Unfortunately, my degree is not medical. So
mine definitely isn't. And,
so I'm not going to even guess.
But, no, I'm not going to guess either. But whoever takes it, whoever doesn't, God bless all of you and take care of yourselves and look after yourselves.
Yes,
and thank
definitely.
you for...
Stay safe.
Stay safe. And thank you for watching Vegas Live with Ninon and this lovely lady. Absolutely amazing with her interior decorating. We will be back next week. Take care. Be good. Do what you want to do. Have some fun.
Take care. Bye.
If you enjoyed the last show we just did and all the other shows, don't forget to subscribe. Vegas Live with Ninon on YouTube. We've got plenty more coming up and our guests are amazing. So don't forget to subscribe. We'll be right back. Vegas Live with Ninon.